Belfast, such a troubled past. Reminders of it are everywhere, and yet it has its share of present-day troubles too. In this documentary, we will open your eyes to one of the most prevalent and urgent issues facing Belfast today: homelessness. Here in Belfast, homelessness is at its highest level in the city's history. It has reached crisis level. There are many factors to consider when determining why, but drug use, alcohol abuse and mental illness are among the top 5 culprits responsible for the sharp increase in homelessness.
But housing and homelessness is one of those issues that it's just vital that we have to resolve this.
Yes.
Did you know that 1 in 33 people in Northern Ireland don't have a permanent home?
Wow.
So for every 33 people that you see, there'll be another one that doesn't have a permanent home.
Wow.
And if you take into consideration how many people are sofa surfing, are sharing a house with family and friends because they don't have a home, then it goes down to 1 in 23.
I got a job and I got sacked from a job as well. I'm a train barista. I can make you the best coffee on the planet.
I bet you can.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Where are you from, by the way?
I'm from the States.
On your sentence, or if you get, or just say you get bail or whatever. Well, then they literally give you like 70 quid when you're just out in the streets. Like they just basically walk out the gates with your bag and not see by yourself. Oh my God. They might give you numbers and all the ring, but
The large influx of immigrants in recent years has also put a strain on the housing situation here in Northern Ireland. Ironically, while many of the over 20,000 homeless in Belfast have shelters to stay in at night, we still have a population known as rough sleepers. Paul is a remarkable man. He is proof that one man with a vision and a desire to help the homeless can do wonders. He is the founder and CEO of The People's Kitchen, one of the most successful and well-run organizations in Belfast that are dedicated to improving the plight of the homeless.
No,
Here's Paul in his own words.
We're actually meeting the minister next week. He's coming here next Wednesday to talk about, it's all how the housing executive is funded. It's funded to provide accommodation. It's not funded to prevent homelessness. And we haven't done nothing new in the last 10 years. So if you keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results, and for me, it's just severe. I suppose operationally, I also was on the board of the housing executive, and I resigned because I just couldn't listen to the nonsense that they were talking about. They were sitting in meetings and not really giving homelessness a key focus where it's needed. Right, so people come in, there's people sketching. This is the reception area here, so they normally would meet Mino. So it's Mino here, so one of our volunteers. Say hello, Mino. Hello. And this is Pierce also too. He's our barber, so people also tonight, as well as getting dinner and stuff, they also can get their haircut as well, so they can. So. People's Kitchen is now going for about 9 years. I also was involved in homeless work prior to that. My background is nursing, so I was working in the local emergency department. We've seen a lot of homeless people come in at night just for warmth and for tea. And then we recognised there was an increase in people on the streets who had no hope. And dark place, people who would be homeless, people struggling with their addiction, and those numbers were starting to increase week on week. So we've done a big massive hope down in St Patrick's about 9 years ago, and we opened St Patrick's Soup Kitchen at the time. So that was the first start of us opening our soup kitchen in Belfast about 9 years ago. It's operating around about 6 years. We started feeding 10 people 9 years ago, and now we feed over 1,000 people a week. Vegetables and potatoes.
What would you say to people who do maybe listen to this and say, well, what can I do? What would you say to them?
I mean, what we've seen in our project here doesn't get no government funding, so people from this community and people right across the city support us every single day in terms of financially making donations. So we get people who come to us who donate. We also have a massive big volunteer group, all different backgrounds, from teachers, social workers, to priests, to ministers, to pastors, who all come and give their time to help support people. And we want to keep this as a volunteer-led service because it's about giving back in the community. It's about recognising that we've got a serious problem of homelessness in Belfast, and as a community respond to that issue. For me, for many years, was about giving people who are homeless a voice within local government, because people who we see on the street, this could be someone's son, someone's daughter, someone's mother, someone's father. They're human beings, and they deserve to be treated with dignity.
Absolutely.
From within government, but also within society, because many of them quite often who speak to me say, Paul, I don't feel part of society. We feel on the edges of society, and I think it's quite a sad reflection at times of a city that that there is a lot of compassion in the city. So for us, it's about changing that perception, changing that sort of narrative that people are homeless, they're all taking drugs, and they're smelly, and whatever all those different words that people use.
Which some are, but they're not all like that. But even if they are like that, they need the help even more.
Definitely.
This is a common sight here on the streets of Belfast, unfortunately. We often see discarded sleeping bags, clothing, warm coats in the middle of winter, just thrown down on the ground. And it's frustrating. Of course, you continue to do all you can, even though you give them a sleeping bag and you see them a week later and you say, you enjoying that sleeping bag, and they look at you with a sad face and they go, well, it was stolen, or I lost it, or you can't stop, of course. You have to continue to care and you have to continue to give. But it is frustrating to see this. And as I just said, we see a lot of that here. So, welcome to Belfast.
If you bump into God on your travels, will you say a word to him from me? Tell him that I'd love to hear from him. I'd love to hear him call my name. If you bump into God, tell him that I said hello.
So I'm just going to let Kelly introduce herself and then tell us some of her insights about the homeless situation.
So I'm Kelly Armstrong. I came to be a full-time politician in 2016. I'm from Northern Ireland. I grew up here. I love this place. And coming here into the Assembly, the Northern Ireland Assembly, I wanted to help people and to change lives. The way it works in Northern Ireland, you have as many politicians on a committee as the strength of power of your party. But housing and homelessness is one of those issues that it's just vital that we have to resolve this. Did you know that 1 in 33 people in Northern Ireland don't have a permanent home?
Wow.
So for every 33 people that you see, there'll be another one that doesn't have a permanent home. How many of those people genuinely have no home? There's about 25,000 people, and we have to provide temporary accommodation for them. That temporary accommodation has spiralled in costs, and that cost, and imagine this, it's about £34.5 million a year is spent on hotels and bed and breakfasts to house these individuals and families. Imagine how many houses you could build for £34 million.
I was just going to say.
Homelessness crisis, and the money that we need to build those homes is being spent paying for the hotels and bed and breakfast to make sure that they have a roof over their head. We have a horrendous health system at the moment in Northern Ireland. So if you imagine someone doesn't have a permanent home, that's affecting everything. Their mental health, their well-being. I've even heard of homeless people who, because they don't have a permanent address, they can't even get registered with a doctor's surgery here. If they have children, those children may have to be moved around from schools to schools to schools because they're being moved wherever the temporary accommodation is. So those children are not getting the benefit of education.
Right. Is there anyone in government that could coordinate all of those sectors, the private and the public and the average citizen on the street? Is there anybody that can do
do that right now?
If we have everybody working together to alleviate the homelessness problem, we should have the Minister for Infrastructure, who's in charge of Northern Ireland Water, saying, right, key priority for Northern Ireland Water is keep the clean drinking water, but make sure housing is enabled wherever it needs to be. We have the Minister for Communities, who has the money to spend on housing, needs to release that money at the right time to ensure that the social housing providers, the people who are going to have government subsidy to build the homes, that they can do that. Give an appropriate access to land. Our planning system here
no one's coordinating all these groups and causing them to work in harmony?
No, this is the problem. So I was at a meeting with Northern Ireland Water, and I said, is one of your priorities, we've got it in the programme for government, is one of your priorities housing? No. So when you fix something under the ground, you're doing it to make sure that there's clean water. That's great. But you could be doing it in a field across Northern Ireland where nobody lives. Yes. You're not doing it where we need houses.
Right.
So our planning system, planning permission for houses, is so slow. A housing authority told me that they could have gone to government and said, we want to build 400 houses in this area. And the government says, great, go you on ahead and do that. So it'll be part funded by government, part funded through the banks, say for a mortgage. Because the planning permission is so slow, it could take 2 years before they can put a shovel in the ground to build those houses. In the meantime, they're paying a mortgage on ground that they haven't built on yet because our planning system is so slow. So this all needs a review. So there's people like myself and there's others that are sort of saying, guys, we've got a programme for government key objective here for housing because we know we've 58,500 people without a permanent home. For goodness sake, can we get a move on?
So I pulled up into this car park, and right here in front of us was a microcosm of the whole problem we're facing in this city. We just pull up, and this is common sight here. We pull up, and we see this lying on the ground. And if you'll notice, it's a suitcase, it's a perfectly good coat, clothing, there's socks. We have toothbrushes here. We have deodorant, that's deodorant maybe, or shaving cream. There's a mouthwash just strewn on the ground, abandoned. These are valuables just left here to rot. And that is a picture of the problem facing this city. The people lying on the streets here, the people begging, the people addicted, they're valuable. They're valuable. Every one of them is extremely valuable. You can't put a price on a human soul. You can't put a price on a human being. They're just lying on the ground like trash. The things that these drug addicts and alcoholics and homeless could contribute to society if they got over their addictions, over their mental health issues, and they really got whole and they really got healthy. Who knows? The next great invention could be from one of them. I mean, I met some very intelligent people lying on the street. Intelligence has nothing to do with any of it. I met some very, very sharp people, and what could they contribute to our society? Musicians, authors, inventors, who knows? But they don't have a chance right now. They're in the midst of their addictions. They've got to get free. We need a home and a place where they can be free.
While many of the over 20,000 homeless in Belfast have shelters to stay in at night, we still have a population known as rough sleepers, those who sleep on the streets, regardless of the weather. One reason for this is that the shelters and hostels will not accept them if they are high on drugs or drunk on alcohol. Others refuse to use the shelters because they say they are too dangerous. They fear being robbed or tempted by drugs or alcohol, which some are trying to quit.
How did you end up here, Paul, like this? Can you tell a little bit about your background?
I was the bad and Korean. There's a lot of people taking drugs. And unfortunately, one of the people OD'd. But he died.
Oh, no.
And his family and all blame me. And dealers blame me.
Oh, my gosh.
So he died by truck.
Right.
And that's how I ended up here.
From Slovakia. I moved here when I was 13. I'm 32. And because of Brexit, because of this whole let's leave the EU, I lost my benefits, I lost my housing, fell out with my parents, you know what I mean? So rough sleeping, and not occasionally, basically always. minus temperatures and all that. And I don't get paid. I literally have to sit out on a street and just expect somebody to hand me money. And yeah, there's addiction issues, there's mental health issues, but I don't even have a GP, a doctor, or anything. Like I said, I've an infection on my leg right now. I've been to the hospital last night, and the GP just gave me antibiotics, didn't even dress me, didn't even like clean it up for me or anything, and kicked me out on the street because they seen me carrying a big blue bag. And yeah, I'm an alcoholic. I have to drink every day. I have to because my body goes into shock. But yeah, it's an addiction I can't afford. Yeah, and there's nowhere open that would help me at the minute.
I want to repeat that last line, Andres. There's nowhere open that will help me. Into the drugs.
In cycles, because I think.
Yeah, vicious cycles.
That's the right environment.
Yeah, the right environment. That's it, the right environment. If you want a bed here and you're homeless, you have to call the housing executive. You have to have a phone. And then once you call them, then you have to wait 30 minutes till they call you back. And so for a man like Jose, no phone, no ID, nothing, he can't call to get a bed. So he's sleeping in cardboard in front of Tesco on the street. So
I split up from my wife.
Okay.
And things were not going good.
Yeah.
After you come up again, you'll fully look at the picture and see why you were there.
There's that like quotes like John 3:16.
Right.
But then there's that 3:17.
Right.
Where it's like you have to like give it to get it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a good message, isn't it?
Good.
To give it to get.
Teen Challenge is a world-renowned ministry that has helped countless thousands of wayward young people and adults who have lost their way. Brian Madden is the founder and director of the local branch. Here he is, in his own words, describing the challenges he faces when dealing with homeless drug addicts and alcoholics.
My story is I'm a North Belfast lad. I'm originally from a place called Tigers Bay in North Belfast. I was growing up in a very loyalist, paramilitary type background. I couldn't stop my addiction because I'd tried on many occasions. I realised I couldn't free myself because I tried that on many occasions. I realised that counsellors couldn't help me and psychiatrists couldn't help me. I'd tried them on many occasions. And the moment I gave my life to Jesus Christ, all I can describe is like this peace of God flooded through my body, and I knew that I was transformed.
Wow.
And due to the nature of my background, then that gave me a heart for people who were in addiction and people who were homeless, because very often I found myself sofa surfing because I couldn't go home because of paramilitary threat. So I wasn't sure sometimes where I was going to stay. So I got a heart for these people, and I worked with them now probably 37 years. I've been involved in one way or another.
Wow.
Helping people who are in addiction, people who are homeless, people who are in trouble with paramilitaries. I'm here now, we're in this building, and the centre on the side of it now just coming 4 years, and Chris, it's been phenomenal what we've seen God do.
I've seen firsthand what you do and how the homeless come here and you feed them. You've got a hot meal, a hot shower.
Yeah.
You're there, a listening ear.
Yeah.
They can share their hearts with you. The other day we were scheduled to do this interview, but you couldn't make it. Yeah. Why? You were taking a heroin addict. To Scotland, I think, to put him in a program to help him get free.
Yeah, that was a guy called Alan Hunter. He was actually on the BBC programme for drugs in Loughins. They call it pinning. It's injecting cocaine, and he was showing how to mix it and how to do it. I'd been working with Alan for about 2 years.
I often say that the problem here isn't homelessness, it's hopelessness. Once they give up on themselves, once they believe what they were told as a child, or once they just give up, there's no more hope.
As much as Jesus died for me, he died for those people lying out begging on the street. I'm not any higher up than what they are. So we have to carry the message of love and compassion, and they need to hear that there is a way out of addiction and there is a way out of homelessness.
Yes.
You know, I spoke to a guy this morning there, Connor, and he's going to meet me for coffee. He's homeless, but he's in a hostel called the Old Bank, and he's broken because he's 0 points. He's 0 points. That means he's not even on the scale to get a house, and yet he's homeless. And then what that causes is because he can't deal with life, so he then goes into addiction. He starts to drink, he starts to take drugs to deal with the disappointment, to deal with the hurt, to deal with the pain. And we deal with that 24/7,
Right.
Absolutely 24/7. Every individual we eventually persuade through a lot of prayer and discussion to go into rehabilitation. Their stories are horrific. Horrific.
Break your heart.
You've heard them, you know.
Yeah.
And you go home thinking how evil society is and how evil it can be.
Yeah.
And it just causes you to love them more and let them know that there is a way out
Amen.
of their situation.
Yeah, amen. Okay, so we're here on the streets of Belfast, and we just met this gentleman, and we asked him to share a few thoughts about the homeless and the homeless crisis here in Belfast. He is a local, a resident, so thank you very much for agreeing to be with us. And what are your thoughts about the homeless here?
They're just everywhere.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's a lot of them. I feel really bad for them.
Yeah.
There's just so many people you see around the place. Like, city centre is like just filled with them, honestly. Like every day it's a different person with a different coat sitting down with a cup next to them, begging for change. It's depressing, to be honest.
Yeah.
I would say that I think that the government should be doing a bit more about it.
Yeah.
I think maybe there should be a little bit more actual support in place. I know there's like the homeless centre, but I mean that really doesn't do so much.
Yeah.
Should actually be focusing on getting people out there to help them.
Yeah.
And just help those in need.
The homeless and the homeless crisis here, Alan.
It's wrong. It shouldn't be happening. We don't know what they go through on a daily basis, and whether they're an ex-veteran or whether they've just went through a tough time. It's wrong. Homeless shouldn't exist.
Yeah. Agreed.
It shouldn't.
I agree.
Come all you preachers and you pastors, all you priests, nuns and scholars, come on and walk down the roads without those roads of crucifixes and orange collars. You know, we don't need religion. We don't need religion. You know we can't need religion. Well, we don't need religion, but we could use the love of God.
You know, it is sad going home to your comforts when you've been here, and then you see things like them lying on the streets in the cold.
If there was a way to help, would you try to help?
Oh, no, I'm sure I would.
Yeah.
I would. Like, I haven't had to. Do you know, I haven't been in that situation.
It hasn't affected you personally?
No. I would give maybe a bit of change, but that's maybe the height of what I have contributed.
Would you support government?
I'm a nurse, so I see a lot of it where I work.
Yeah.
So I'd say I would support that. Yeah. I've never done anything personally myself, but just seeing it firsthand in the wards.
Your heart goes out for it.
Yeah, we would get a lot of alcohol detoxers who would be homeless. So, you would probably
a lot more young people nowadays probably you see in the streets of Belfast, which is quite sad.
We really need to take care of the homeless story.
Yeah. It's sad seeing money being prioritised in other places before, and so many empty buildings and things you see, and there's nowhere. You'd think they would build a house for homeless. That's what my fiance and I think anyway. So
well, that's exactly what we think too, and thank you for your time
no
today.
problem.
While there are many in Belfast who need caring for, there are also many who do care for them, feeding and clothing the homeless, with some providing shelter. Chris often says, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care.
The housing crisis is a big problem, but homelessness isn't just solved by getting people into houses. There's much more to it than that. People have complex needs. There's mental health issues, there's physical health issues, there's cuts and shortages left, right and centre. I do think there needs to be a big change governmentally, as opposed to, say, charities having to take on all the slack. And I think the provision of housing is a big one, and just maybe greater access to things like, I don't know off the top of my head, something like needle exchanges. And I always see, today, every day, I see people giving money to homeless people, buying them drinks and food. And I think actually that perpetuates the problem in a lot of ways, because it's more beneficial for homeless people to be out on the streets begging, asking for money, than it is for them to be in a hostel where maybe they could work on their health or learn some skills. I think it's just a really complicated issue, but I would very much support anything to be done about it.
When they drag you from your bed before the dawn, when they beat you till you know you can't go on, when you believe you're right but still you're always wrong, come and sit down here with me. When they freeze you out of it.
Pastors Chris and Cheryl began the Church on the Street on July 28, 2024, in Writers Square in the Cathedral Quarter of Belfast City Central. Services have been conducted out in the park almost every week since then, and each week the homeless have been shown the love of God through a cup of hot tea or coffee, and whatever else is needed, especially hugs. Chris and Cheryl and staff set up a tent and play worship songs and sit with the homeless, listening to them, then praying for them. The impact of this practical demonstration of the love of God has been profoundly moving.
The Lord spoke to me and he said, I want you to start a church on the street. I want you to start having services for the homeless out on the streets of Belfast, where they have a place to come. Many of these homeless are drug addicts, alcoholics. They will not ever set foot inside a church, but they would come to us if we go to them. I'm saying, instead of them coming to us, we go to them. The Lord commanded us to go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature.
So the Lord told us to start having our services on Sunday out on the street, and we service and we bring tea and coffee and some snacks and things. And so the first Sunday we came out, and there's a lot of homeless addicts, a lot of people that hang around out here. And so we didn't know, we knew that was happening, but we didn't know what all we needed or whatever. And we come out here the first time and we thought, okay, we'll have a regular service, sing, put on the mic, and start preaching. But we realized that didn't work. They've heard it, they hear it all over here in Belfast. So we said, okay, take the mic away, have the worship going on, and worship, serve the tea, and talk to them one-on-one. Just have a conversation with them. Love on them, listen to them, pray with them, ask them if there's anything we can pray about, and it has worked wonders. We have them coming in and out. Some come on a regular with us back and forth. You never know what you get, but we just hear, and every time the Lord has provided everything we needed. The first time we didn't even have a table, and the Lord provided a table. And then the next time we heard that they needed sleeping bags, so the Lord started providing sleeping bags. Christmas, so we thought we're gonna have a Christmas party for them. So we started getting some gifts that are just for both boys and girls. And then somebody gave us some gifts for the men. And then when we got here today, one of our dear sisters had prepared gifts, and she prepared for women. So we actually have women gifts, men gifts, and whichever boy or girl can take. God just provided. And then he provided people, and every time there's just a sweet presence that the Lord just provides for what we need. Somebody had a cut, and we happen to have Band-Aids. You know, you just never know what they need. Somebody needed water, and somebody had donated water that week. They just really was thirsty. So we've got hot chocolate today. We've got candy canes and marshmallows to go in it. Pizza's coming here in a few minutes. And we're just worshiping the Lord and having a service and just going to give out to whoever shows up. So for the Lord, all for the Lord.
Thank you for asking. Thank you for being here, Stephen, and our office is here. I'm Christopher Michael Tripp. I have a ministry called About Our Father's Business, and my wife and I have been faithfully following the Lord's leading in full-time ministry since 2006. He led us to Ireland at first, and we lived in Killarney in the south for 3.5 years. We went all across the nation obeying him and following him. He then sent us to South Korea, where we established a fellowship there. You know, God's not Catholic or Protestant. And they stare at you like, what? You know, those are labels that people, you know, put on themselves that have nothing to do with him, and they just can't seem to wrap their mind around it. You know, they're so used to the religious traditions here, and everything's divided into black and white, Protestant or Catholic, and you try to set them free from those things, and it's hard. It's hard for, you know, it's like, no, you know, if you're telling me that my traditions of man are not of God, you know, then I think I'll stick with my traditions.
So quite a journey, Chris. So just, you know, South Korea, getting too comfortable. You like a challenge, you said, and this certainly has been a challenge. But it's interesting listening to you speaking that, you know, you mentioned similar to my own story of coming out, and here you are, you're going out, and then you're bringing them in to a place of love. You're bringing them into a place of hope, into a place of restoration, and probably for a lot of them, a new identity.
It's all about loving people. You can talk all you want to, but if you, God says, if you can't love your brother whom you can see, then don't say you love God who you can't see.
And I can resonate with that because we're feeling a similar thing. And your wife, Chris, she's involved with you. You want to say a wee bit about your wife?
Thank God for a woman that has a heart to obey him. And when I told her the call from God to get out on the street, she immediately backed it. She immediately supported it. She's been there right at my side the whole time. You know, every week to set up a service. We have a tent, a marquee that we set up. It's a job, but she has been faithful, and she is, her name is Cheryl. And I thank God for my wife who's joined us, you know, every week without fail. It's time to get out on the streets, out where the people are hurting and broken, go to the pubs, go to the places where normally you wouldn't set foot, but now it's time. It's the Lord's timing. He loves them dearly. There's a rich harvest of souls to be won for the Lord, and he who is forgiven much loves much. These drug addicts, alcoholics, whoever, they will make the most fabulous Christians. I don't stand and preach at our services. I sit with them, or I just talk to them one-on-one. And that's where heart to heart, where the gospel is best transferred. Instead of just preaching at them, I listen to them. A lot of people need a hug more than a sermon. The guys tell me, you know, I haven't had a hug for so long, I can't remember. So our goal is to start a home for them, where they can come in and get detoxed. I tell people the problem here is not homelessness, it's hopelessness. And so when somebody gives up hope, they turn to drugs, alcohol, they abuse themselves, they let themselves be abused by others. Many of them have been abused in their backgrounds. So they need a healing house, a place where they can come to be restored. And that's our goal. Our goal is to establish a home where they get detox. Now, there are a lot of people caring for the homeless here in Belfast. Thank God. There's a Christian and otherwise. They're being fed, they're being clothed. There's a lot of hostels, you know, where they can get a bed for the night. But there's not very many that are restoring their souls, you know, bringing them to a place of wholeness and health where they get free of their addictions and they get free of the place where they would harm themselves.
You might be thinking to yourself as you watch, there's not a lot I can do. This problem is too big. Consistently, we observe on the streets people just tend to walk on by, ignoring the desperate need. It's too provoking, too challenging, and fear can rise up. But there are solutions. It's not enough to shed light on some of the problems facing the citizens of Belfast, who for the most part genuinely care about their fellow citizens. But we must also offer solutions.
The bed is one part of that support. It's also then wraparound support around addiction services, mental health services, financial services, or benefits. What is going wrong in their lives that we need to help them with? And it's not simply saying that there's a key to the door of your new house, or there's a key to the door of the hostel. It's a follow-up. It's the aftercare.
If we have a programme for government that says that housing is key, housing must include homelessness. Must include homelessness, because they're the very people that we're providing homes for.
My answer to homelessness is the church.
Yeah.
That's my answer to homelessness.
Yeah.
And I know it's not practical for every church to do it,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of churches in around the city centre could open and let them come in at night and sleep.
Yeah.
I think that's what Jesus would have done.
What would you say to them? What would you want them to do for you and people like you?
Look at all my paperwork, look at my record, look at my school, and realize that I lived here for 19 years and I did nothing. I'm being treated like an illegal immigrant. I worked here, I paid my taxes, and I'm known to the homeless services all over. I'm known to the police too. Wow. But yeah.
I think that one of the issues that we have in Northern Ireland is we still are living in a divided society. So at the minute in Northern Ireland, you can go into parts of Belfast that are only for one type of person, Protestants or Catholics. And if you fit in, then you've got a house. But maybe the colour of your skin isn't the same, so people put you out, or there's paramilitary involvement because of drug dealing. What we need to do in Northern Ireland is to get beyond that and say the main need is we have 1 in 33 people without a house here. All housing should be available to anybody. I think that what we need to do is to take back the context of Northern Ireland and actually start to make need. And if we can identify what people's needs are and provide for them, then that makes for a better government. Yeah. If we identify the need of our people here and work to deliver that, we will find the budget and we will work together. I think that housing is a bit of a linchpin. And if you don't have that one basic place where you're rooted, then it affects so much of your life.
Yeah, everything else.
And we can't do it on the basis of division in Northern Ireland. If we build a group of houses, they should be open to meet the needs of the people who need them the most.
Sadly, on January 17th, 2025, a young woman passed away while sleeping on the cold, hard streets of Belfast. She was just 29 years old. Belfast has lost far too many precious young men and women in this way, and it has to stop. Her story is an all too familiar one. Ashley Loughins was a frequent visitor to the church on the street. Pastor Chris knew her, and she knew him. He met her on the night she passed. She asked him for food, and he bought her a meal. It was the last time he saw her. Chris was honored by her family to be invited to speak at her funeral, and they have agreed to share Ashley's story.
Hi, I'm here today with the family of Ashley Loughins, and she's a young lady that passed away on the streets of Belfast recently. And they have graciously agreed to an interview to share their grief, share the things that they've been going through and that they went through with Ashley to try to bring light for others, that knowledge and wisdom to others, and to perhaps help others who are going through something like this. So I'm here with the parents of Ashley and her sister. And so I'm going to begin today with her father. And his name is Freddie, sitting next to me. And Freddie has just been wonderful. He's been very gracious to agree to this today. And we knew Ashley. Ashley came to our church on the street, and she actually quite a few times. And I had met Ashley on the night that she died. I took her to KFC for a meal. For her last dinner, actually. And so it's been a real privilege and honor to be invited into their home and to be a part of this interview today. So Freddie, thank you for agreeing to do this.
You're welcome, Chris.
Thank you. And Freddie, can you just share with us, what it's been like to lose your daughter?
It's just a hard question to answer, mate. Obviously, things are still raw at the moment. So now it's hard really to put it into words.
Yeah.
what it is. But no, actually, it was just a normal wee girl growing up. She was like any other kid. She had a wee son, Marcus. She lost. Marcus was only 2 months whenever she lost him, or we lost him, and from that, she went downhill. She took till drugs. Addiction just more or less took over her life.
That has to have been so hard to watch that happening, and you want to do something. You want to help. You tried your best.
As a family, we done everything. Well, thought we'd done everything.
Yeah.
And so looking back, maybe think that we could have done more, but no, we did. Which we took her in. We've done everything we possibly could do with her, but yeah, I think the addiction just got that far. She was that far gone.
Yeah.
That she couldn't come back from it.
So you would say to families that might be dealing with a child that's got an addiction, maybe not to blame themselves so much, right?
No, I don't think the blame's not but for family.
Yeah.
Like I say, we done, everybody that knows us knows that we done what we could.
Yeah.
So we did. So don't think it's you're always going to have that thing, could have done more.
Yeah.
Maybe you are going to blame yourself, but listen, I actually knew. She wasn't daft. Like I say, it was just the addiction must have been so great that there was just no coming back from it.
Oh, and she
wasn't a bad girl. I'm not just saying that because she's passed now, but she wasn't a bad wee girl.
No.
Well, we knew her, and she was a sweetheart. She always thought about others. She put others before herself. She was thinking about others' welfare. And the last night I saw her, she was wanting to feed Joey and not just herself. And Ashley's mom is here too, and Joanne. Again, we offer our condolences on the loss of your daughter, and we again thank you for also participating in this interview today. And I just want you to share out of your own heart, your own words, what it's been like to go through this situation.
Terrible, Chris.
Yeah.
You're just beating yourself up about it. As Freddie said, you could we have done more to help her, but we couldn't have. She was too far gone, and we brought her in, we done everything with her. But she was just, at that stage, there was no going back. It's horrible.
The addiction just seems to get worse.
She did try.
These last 6 months, I think she's been at her
really, really bad.
But actually can be good for months at a time.
She was
she could be clean and sober, and she was great. And I remember, I actually would have had good conversations with you.
Yeah.
And I remember asking her, like, what is your trigger point? And you've got something to work with.
Yeah. But she could never tell you.
Do you guys think that there should have been a program or some kind of help for her?
Yes.
There's not enough help out there for the kids. I know that the problem's that big.
It's only getting worse.
Charlene, would you like to speak to the audience? Anything you'd like to say about your sister and the struggles she went through?
Yeah, I tried to help Ashley. Like, I had her mental health team and brought her here, there, and everywhere, and I think she was too far gone. But like I say, they're out to do, they need more help. There is no help out there for them. Like, I had a mental breakdown myself, and I went through a bad patch of drugs. I know exactly what Ashley's going through because I was there myself. And I was trying to help her. If this has made me more determined.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wouldn't slip back off that road again. I hadn't bothered with Ashley there a while because I tried to help her. Like I say, I told you I went off the rails myself. I was trying to get myself better, and then trying to look after her, which wasn't good for me. But then she tortured my way for me to meet her. So I met her the week before she passed and had dinner with her in the town. And then she came in here on the Wednesday, the day before, and I gave her new shoes and gave her a hug and a kiss. She told me she loved me, and she went in her house coat and pajamas. That was the last I seen her.
Aren't you grateful you had that last moment with her?
Like, I think that was meant to happen. It was only a week before she passed. So it was meant to happen.
Literally got kids down on the street.
Yeah.
What more does it take?
What does it exactly?
What more?
Or many
needs to
more does it take?
A lot more needs to be done with the rehab side of it.
Yes.
Because
Like I say,
waiting that there long, and kids are dying while they're waiting.
you have to be clean too. Like if she was able to get herself clean, she wouldn't need rehab. Nobody, if somebody's able to get themselves clean for so many weeks before rehab, then they wouldn't need rehab.
Yeah. So if people can't personally get involved with the homeless and the situation here in Belfast, they can support charities like People's Kitchen and Teen Challenge, and there's others too.
Because it happened to us, like
you
only hear of Teen Challenge, and it's only when it comes to your own door that you realise there is,
That's it.
The charities were amazing. We actually did.
Especially when they realise that most of it's done voluntarily.
And tell me about your efforts to, you're helping to raise funds for Teen Challenge and People's Kitchen?
Yeah, I'm doing a skydive in memory of Ashley. There's already, it's £1,000 odds on.
Wow.
On the GoFundMe already. Plus I have charity buckets out for Teen Challenge and People's Kitchen.
Oh, how wonderful.
I met up with Michelle from Teen Challenge and Paul McCusker. They've been great.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm just raising out as much as I can to split it between the two charities because they were amazing at the end, Ashley.
Is there any parting thoughts you have?
I'd just like to say, we're only going to go through the same problems is keep trying. Don't give up.
Don't give up. And let's rally together as a community, as a city, and let's care enough to start making some real change. Let's start programs that these precious people can get into that can actually get them free of their addictions and stay free.
Give them a chance.
Let's give them a chance. If the need for the drugs dries up, the drugs will dry up. If people stop needing them or wanting them, then the supply will dwindle away, So as a community, guys, let's come together. We don't want to see another Ashley die on the streets. No. We do not want to see that happen anymore. We've lost too many already.
No.
We've lost too many precious young people to the problems of addictions and I'm going to say it too, suicide. That's happened too much in this city, and we want to see that change. The main message here today is that these people did all they could. She wasn't raised in a terrible home or without love. She was loved as she grew up, right? And yet she still. She made decisions. She chose to deal with her grief at losing her child. She chose to deal with numb the pain. With alcohol and drugs.
Actually done a counselling. We got her a wee bit of counselling. She actually wanted to do counselling too. But I think the problem of her counselling, she was still using while she was getting counselled. I think maybe she had to take a wee break.
It's dragging everything up.
Break from So she was going to counselling then. It was leaving her in a state. So she turned till the only comfort that she knew. Which was drugs, trying to blank everything out. I mean, I had numerous conversations with Ashley, and one of the things she would have said is that I don't want to be like this.
No, she did. She always said that. Yeah.
And we're going to, in her honor, in her memory, we're going to really try to rally people to do more.
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes I feel like a human weed. Everyone ignores me. No one pays me any heed. I can't fulfill anyone's needs. I just sit here wallowing in my misery.
I'm invisible, avoided, shunned. I'm of no value to anyone. People notice others dressed nicer than I. No one cares if I live or if I die.
And I know the fate of most weeds. They're poisoned or plucked up eventually, discarded, burned, thrown in the trash. I feel stupid, useless, like a pile of cigarette ash.
To continue living is a waste of time. They want me out of their sight and out of their minds.
For now, I just sit here on this street, another bad seed, stripped of my dignity, a nuisance, just another human weed.
Oh God, if you'll hear one such as I, please don't let me die without ever knowing another's love, without ever being hugged or touched.
Oh God, hear my heart's deepest groans. Please don't let me die alone.
The smoke is rising from the east side of his town. Samson and Goliath stretch high to guide him home. And he has a story to tell like everyone, and puts it to one side and just keeps getting on. The heroes of Belfast are rising up today. They walk the city and claim their rightful place. The heroes of Belfast, the heroes of Belfast, the heroes of Belfast, Belfast The heroes of Belfast are rising up today. They walk the city and claim
Well, I see the people in the balconies, in the streets, and in their cars. The party going on animals, out in the back rooms on the bars, saying, we don't need religion. We don't need religion. And I've been a timberjack, been a laborer, I've been a shipyard man and a shirker. I've worked with builders, building houses, and heard a million McDonald's workers saying, we don't need religion. Hey, we don't need religion. Well, we don't need religion. We could use the love of God, yeah. If you bump into God by a stoplight, on the sidewalk or in some smoky bar, if you bump into God on the highway, if he's driving some rusty beat up car, if he's not busy talking to a prisoner, a pauper or a beggar or a thief, tell him that I really need his mercy. Tell him that we all could use some peace. If you bump into God, tell him that I said hello.
If you born